Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by the channel today. Today we are in the research kitchen. I'm going to be doing kind of a tutorial, I guess, or how-to for swapping out the motor on an ARRMA Voltage. Now this will apply to any voltage series vehicle, whether it be the Granite or the Phazon. The chassis and the procedure for doing this is pretty much the same. So what we're going to be doing is taking out the old motor, which is a 20-turn 540 can motor, and we're going to be installing a 15-turn ARRMA Mega 540 can motor in here for a little bit increase in horsepower. So stay tuned, guys. Let's get this going. All right, the first thing we're going to need to do is let me just adjust my camera here just a little bit. All right, the first thing we're going to need to do is remove these two screws. There's one down on the bottom and one up at the top here to reveal our spur gear and the motor pinion itself. So let's get these taken out real quick here. I've already got these started here so we can pull these out. Now I use a little magnetic tray for most of this stuff. I don't have it handy, so I'm going to be a liar today and not use that tray. But you want to make sure you're not losing these screws when you're removing them. So set them in a good spot that you're not gonna lose them. And I apologize for the awkwardness here. This is a little difficult to do behind camera here. So let me get that top one out, guys, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, once you've got the screws out of the way, you're going to go ahead and pull this top half of this cover off, and I have a tool to do that with. This is kind of a cell phone screen prying tool. Just put it in that parting line here between the two halves, and we can just probably pry that out of the way. Actually, I didn't even need it really. But now we can see inside here, guys, we have the spur gear and the pinion for the motor. Now, to get the spur gear out, sometimes you can just grab it with your hands and pull it, and it'll pop out of place. Most times I'm finding, though, I have to take a screwdriver behind it and actually pry it back a little bit, gently, of course. You're not going to want to hand fist any of this stuff, guys. This is a plastic spur gear, so you want to make sure that you're using some decorum, or some, not decorum so much, but some tact when you're taking these out. So you can feel it. You can actually feel it when it dislodges, and just kind of pull that out of the way, and there's our spur gear. So we'll set that off to the side for now, and we can see inside here that our motor screws are going to be one down here and then one right above it, because this is a 19-tooth pinion. And I'm going to go ahead and loosen these up, and we'll get that motor out of the way. Alright guys, so I've already removed the pinion gear from that motor shaft, you can see, and the screws are out. All I have to do now is reach behind, and I usually take it right from the wires. I hope you can see this. There's wires behind here. There is no ESC on here. I'm going to be replacing that as well today. I've got a video up on my channel right now called ARRMA Voltage Meltdown. I have this is kind of going to serve as a tutorial on how to replace that 3-in-1 ESC as well. But that being said, we're going to get this motor out of place here, and we can see that this is just your standard, nothing too fancy 540 can motor. Nothing wrong with this motor. There's no real reason to replace it other than I want to try to get a little bit more performance out of this vehicle. So we can go ahead and set this one aside for now. And off camera, I've taken the liberty of going ahead and installing the pinion on this motor. The motor that we are going to be putting in is an ARRMA product. It's a 15-turn Mega motor by ARRMA. This is a little bit more horsepower, a little bit more RPMs on this one. I think this is going to be nice with the 19-tooth gear on here. Give me a little bit more zip. But these can be had online pretty much anywhere for right around $15 to $17. I think I paid $17 and some change on Amazon.com. I'll post a link in the description for this motor for you guys if you want to check it out for yourselves. But pretty much putting this in is the opposite of taking it out. The thing you want to make sure that you're watching here, guys, when you put this back in is, now we know that this is a 19-tooth pinion on here. This pinion on this motor is 19 teeth. So we want to make sure that we're installing the motor mount holes. Okay, so you've got two holes one down here and then one up on the top here. You want to make sure that you're installing them in the car to match up with the 19 tooth or 19T holes directly across from one another. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'll be right back. Alright guys, so once you've got those motor screws put back in their proper places and the motor lined up properly, we can go ahead and put the spur gear back in. Now you want to make sure that you're looking at this, inspecting it, watching the teeth on here. If there's any grit or any gook on here, you want to wipe it off and then put a little light coat of grease on here. And I'm just using standard high temp grease, this stuff right here. You can use specialty hobby grease if you'd like to. I'll show you what I'm using here real quick. This is just, I got it at Walmart. It's basically just heavy duty high temp grease. It's red colored. This works fine. Don't let anybody else tell you that you need to have specialty grease for your RC vehicles. In my opinion, you really don't. So you want to make sure that everything is looking good on here. There's no teeth missing, anything like that that would cause concern. Any grit or any kind of debris on the shaft here, you want to make sure that you're cleaning off and then re-greasing if need be. But if everything looks okay, you can go ahead and reinstall the pinion or the spur gear back into the motor cavity here and click it into place, and that's pretty much it. The beautiful thing about this, guys, is everything lines up nice. You don't have to worry about setting any kind of mesh on here. The mesh is already preset just by the number of pinions, matching up the mount holes here with the correct number. So 19 tooth pinion gear is going to get mounted. The motor is going to get mounted in the 19T holes. Pretty simple stuff right there. Now it's basically just putting the cover back on. And I've already taken the liberty to make sure that this gear and the pinion and the spur gear are lined up properly and are going to work together properly. So now the next thing to do is just make sure that you reinstall your cover. Now inside the cover here, there's going to be another set of bearings. You want to inspect those, make sure they're not chewed up or looking any kind of weird, and that they are in fact in place yet. And then it's just essentially putting it into place, following the shape, snapping it into place here, and reinstalling your screws, and you're off to the races. Alright guys, once that's completed, once you've got those the cover and the screws in place, you've installed your ARRMA motor. It's that simple. I think a lot of other companies should follow suit with this and make it as easy to service their vehicles as it is with these ARRMAs. Now, I know that if you have to get at the actual transmission or the gears in the back of the differential, you actually have to separate these two halves, kind of a monocoque design, and it will separate. There's a parting line in the center here, if you guys can see it or not, but there is a parting line right here, and there are screw holes, I believe, on the other side of this that you would have to actually loosen, and then this whole shoot and match comes apart in two halves. So that makes it kind of difficult to get at the transmission gears in the back. But that being said, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. I appreciate all my new subscribers. Thanks, guys, for coming on board. If there's anything I can answer your questions on, please put it in the comments section below. We'll see y'all on the next one, and God bless the Republic.